Smart contracts are essentially like little programs. One of the kind of generally accepted principles in computer science is that you don't mix your data with your programs, right? You keep those things separate and different layers for optionality and other reasons. The developers of Ethereum, they decided that they were going to mix their databases with their programs, right? That's what smart contracts essentially do on the Ethereum blockchain. Is this a small program running on top of the database? There's a couple of problems with that. When you mix your program, you introduce some non-deterministic properties. The behavior is not always consistent. And if the main function of a blockchain or distributed ledger is to arrive at consensus with finality, when you introduce some kind of non-deterministic aspects that arise from programs, you can get it's very difficult to manage. The amount of complexity just goes up, parabolically. So that's a trade-off. So if you want to do that, and Ethereum is doing that, that leads to other problems. The other trade-off is that when you build a smart contract platform on top of a proof of work system, everybody shares the pain. And what I mean by that is if you create a DeFi product, and that product, because of its complexity, requires a lot of gas to power. Mm-hmm. Ether is the gas on the Ethereum blockchain. If that smart contract protocol or has a high degree of complexity, you have to pay gas for that. And if you have to pay gas for that, it means that the network throughput is challenged, right? The more transactions you have, the higher the congestion in the network, which means that everyone has to pay for that. So even if you're not using that feature, you have to share in that pain, right? And that's kind of problematic as well, right? That you're essentially socializing the pain. Yeah, so the people taking the pain are the ones who want to transact because they have to pay higher network gas fees. So when the network is congested, everybody's fees, you want to get into that next block. You want your transaction processed, right? And you want to be at the front of the line. Ethereum might solve the problem of decentralized finance. It might solve the problem of, completely upending the financial system because it can do these transactions without the counterparty risk of a third-party intermediary, right? So I think Ethereum is on track to doing that. I do think that they're going to have challenges. So Ethereum also has received criticism from Bitcoin community for its monetary policy, right? It doesn't have a total issuance cap, right? 21 million. There's no total number of Ether that will ever be created. However, the policy does change sometimes. If the community of programmers decides that they want to change the amount of Ether that gets created in the proof of work mining process over time, they could do that. Right? They could change the difficulty rate of the network. They can change the issuance. So ultimately, there is a group of people in real time changing the monetary policy. And if you actually look ahead in the Ethereum schedule, it's likely that Ethereum could be harder in terms of total issuance over time than Bitcoin. In terms of how much rewards proof of work miners will get, and then when you transition to delegated proof of stake, what is the actual issuance rate in terms of percentages? So you can examine these individual monetary policies, and none of them are absent of counterparty risk. Right? There still is counterparty risk in these things. They're just not centralized.